Welcome, Daniel. Good to see you. Welcome, Philip. Good to see you as well. Christina, Arnold, and Wes, and Kijos, of course. We have finally broken out of this local range where price has been stuck in the whole week. So let's see what the reaction here. We do have this local range with our range high, our range low, and we now are taking out the low into this former range demand with some more refined demand resting down here together with a daily point of control, which is this red line. So I would like to see price step into this demand and then see if we get a bullish trigger, which we have on the 15. Basically here, low, lower high, lower low. So if price can break that back to bullish, horizontal, let's just mark it out like this. If price can break that back to bullish, then we can look for the model 2. Like preferably tap into that refined demand with the daily point of control below, flip this back to bullish, and then look for a long from there into potential new weekly highs. But yeah, as always, we need that structure confirmation. Without it, we can also just nuke lower because we also have quite a lot of weekend liquidity below us. So this low was made on Friday, but this high low is on Saturday. And usually price doesn't really like weekend lows or highs. So basically this is all weekend liquidity from this low to this demand. So we have to see, I think if we want to stay somewhat bullish, we need to hold this demand. If we do not hold this demand, then I would not be surprised that we go back for this liquidity, weekend liquidity. And then the next big POI for me is yeah, sweep of that low, which could then be our new range low, range high, and play it from there. But for now, main attention is to watch, can we get tap into this demand and then swift bullish. Then we have the simple range as we always have with just 1, this is 2, and then we can look for the 3 to be formed later on for longs towards the liquidity target above, which was the start of this liquidity trail. So that's in short what I'm waiting on for BTC. So alert at this level and in this demand and see what it will give. Welcome Astro as well, Slatan and Abby. Good to see you guys. If we reflect that to the USD chart, we have that local bearish trend right here, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So as I already said yesterday, we had this local range, but an accumulation was less likely in my opinion. What's more likely here is to see if we can put in a distribution here, potentially for the lower high, for the lower low. So that kind of aligns with watching for BTC to hold this range. But if we break above it, then we can also pull a range from high to low. Let's see, where is our mid range? Yeah, here. So if this one doesn't reject here, but instead we get a bullish break by pushing above this high, because we have low, lower high, lower low. So holding above here would mean structure break. If we then tap the mid range, then this can just be a new range in the making. So reaction here will be pretty key. We are already tapping into supply and we have more refined supply down here. The range is not valid for now. But depending on how this develops, this can structure-wise, this is where I like to look for distributions, because we have simple internal downtrend, low, lower high, lower low. This can be lower high for lower low. So that is with the trend. We have clean supply resting above here with this imbalance in between. So if this, for example, wicks above and we get a move back, then I'm super interested in a potential model 1 distribution here to take it back to that range low. So that kind of aligns with what I'm looking at for BTC as well. So alert at that this refined supply zone, which is basically this level right there. And yesterday we had the local range with range low, range high. We took out the low, while on BTC we did not take the high. So on BTC we also had that 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. And then we came very, very close to the target of the model 1 into the model 2. But we just front ran it, as you can see right here. But if you had a look at UCT, then it took out the low. So sometimes it can just give that little confluence to take profits a little bit before your technical target, if UCT already took it. And UCT gave the trigger for the model 2, because we essentially have this low or lower high, low low, lower high, lower low, and that was broken back to bullish. So a model 2 was likely an accumulation, but for that you want to grab either extreme liquidity, which is your first higher low, or extreme demand, which is your less demand you can find, which in this case was this level. In this scenario, price came for this demand, then broke structure back to bullish, and now already completed the model. So this is also an accumulation, but not a tradable one, because we did not mitigate our extreme demand or our extreme liquidity. But still, this can be seen as an accumulation, just not one tradable. So it shows that this one is kind of showing a rounded bottom, showing that there's demand. And of course, this is USDT, so you have to invert it kind of to see what the crypto market is. But it shows that demand is still present right here. And then we have to see, is price showing strength here at the range high? Because if it does, that could signal that this was a low and that you get a higher low for a higher high, which is kind of what hype did right here. It also showed like a difficult model 2, but it was a model 2, and then price shoot above the high and had a range breakout. So if we have that as well here, then yeah, we have to question if this is still distribution or that this can just be a higher low for a higher high back to that upper supply. For now, it seems that this move is pretty strong, so we have to take that into account, which means that BTC is also dropping lower. Yeah. Where is the deviation threshold? Yeah, so the deviation threshold here also aligns with this refined demand. So we are now tapping into it. We don't want to close below this deviation threshold, which is also the refined demand. So this is key level to hold for BTC locally. Let's see, was it a valid short around mid-range on that BTC range? 3 drive in supply trading alongside 15-minute mark structure. This one? Valid short around mid-range. Yeah, I was not looking at it, but if it looks like it was indeed. Let's see. This is clean supply. Retest. Is this what you mean? because it's not really a tree drive, more a local model 2. Let's get rid of that. It is valid. You can always trade supply and demand, especially if it's clean supply like here with that aggressive move down. And then just follow your structure, high, high, low, high, high. Yeah, here you have an internal break. What I would have liked to trade here is a tree drive. That's what I would really like, because then you have your structure then is high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high. And then this break confirms your third drive as your invalidation. And it's also deep supply mitigation. So then you have clean invalidation and a clean market structure confirmation. But since this one did not make a new high, technically your market structure level is this one. So only by the time you break that, you are here. It's also not too bad, but then towards the range low, yeah, like this, it's valid to trade like this. But a model 1 would have been better. But if you have clean supply like this, and you have also 50-minute bearish structure, then any model, distribution model in that supply can give trades. Not super high probability, but they can work. Like here, this one should have worked, would have worked. So yeah, here I'm simply waiting, not doing anything here until we flip back in the range, break structure. Get it move back into the range, confirm this as our tab 2, preferably break structure, and then look for the model 2. I don't really like a model 1, because that would mean that we get further continuation of this bearish trend. So I'm mainly looking for model 2 if we get it. If we do not hold this demand, then I think we could just continue lower and go back to the lows. And then the Monday's high could already be a strong pivot, because we know that Mondays and Tuesdays are very strong, especially Monday. So now we have a high on Monday and a low on Tuesday, which makes this already a pretty strong potential weekly pivot. So that is what we have to keep an eye on. Let's see what the stats are saying. First, quick look at MMT. Fips were also a confluence. Yeah, clean. It's just a simple supply market structure, and if you don't have a model 1 or model 2, that's nice. That's definitely tradable. Spot is selling off pretty strongly again since this morning, pretty aggressively. So that's also something to take into account. We have daily point of control above us. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's any real demand still. That move that we had earlier here, that was mostly a short squeeze. And from there, the question was more like, do we have real demand, or is this move higher mostly driven by shorts getting squeezed and therefore market makers trying to grab liquidity? So if we do not hold here, then this can just be kind of a top, and we go back down. And you can see that we also have quite a lot of liquidity, around 61k, which will be down here. So yeah, it's not really showing any strength yet. Let's look at the statistics. Daily is it was already bearish or was bullish today, not too sure. But right now it's bearish with 25% closed bullish, 75% of the days closed bearish, 67% took out the low later, so we don't have a strong low yet, and only 33% took out the high later. What are those alerts? Yeah, this looks pretty heavy. Again, nasty that BTC does not, like if it gave a sweep here, then you can be looking for the distribution. But again, it doesn't give me a clean short. This could have been a short, but yeah, I was also not home today. I was not watching it. Let's see what, so daily is bearish into movement wise. Let's see what the weekly is telling. So we have 25% of similar weeks with similar price action closed bullish, 75% closed bearish, 83% took out the low later, and 83, yeah, so currently in a move from weekly high to weekly low is from this high to the current low is 3.8%. That's very low. So it's very likely to make either new lows or new highs. But if it seems like we are breaking down, that could make this already a strong weekly high. So we have to take that into account. And like it seems like we are losing it, then I would draw our new range. As I already said, I think this is our low and it will be forming our high. The only question is where will that high be printed? Personally, I would have expected a little higher to take that liquidity, but it can already be that this is the high. And then you can draw a new range from low to high. And then the mid-range is just below. Let me show that on the clean chart because it's not really clean right now. Welcome Barapiteo and Dylan. BTC USDT. Oh, let's go to BitGet. Because we are now nuking down, this can already be our new range. Range low, range high, mid-range. And that this is our tap 1 at the lows. This our tap 1 at the highs. And that this is the range we have to work with from now on. Seems like this is the case. Then we first have some demand right here, which is daily point of control and an imbalance. And we do have some, yeah, then it's just the usual playbook. Watch for distributions for shorts, or if we first take out the lows, watch for accumulations after taking the low. And we should, we still have bearish main structure. So the low that we made last week was mostly to stop out some shorts, but now it's not really showing any real demand yet. So it will be that if we look at it from a range perspective, we want to look at extreme discount for longs and extreme premium for shorts. That now seems most likely. So this range is looks to be invalidated by now, which means that this is also breaking up. And how much structure is it? It's not valid on the 4, it's valid on the 3. So let's delete this range. It showed an accumulation, not really tradable. But if we look at the internal structure, then we have from high to low, technically low, lower high, lower low, lower high. SFP, swing fail of the low, means you go back to your high. And now it seems like the 3 hours, 40 minutes to go. But if this breaks above, then you can say that this is pretty significant 4-hour internal bullish break. while the main trend is also super bullish. So that would be a signal that we can potentially go back to the upper parts. And then we get the same as on BTC, where this can be our new range. If we tap the mid-range. So I think that is pretty likely. I'm gonna delete this range for now. That demand's also gone. Yeah. Highly likely that this is our new range to work with. And that it's a bearish range because high time frame structure is bearish. So then shorts above longs. And this high, it could be our weekly high already. While we have a lot of weekend liquidity below us. So that can all be taken at a later point. So that's for BTC USDT. What is gold doing? Yeah, very nasty move on gold. We had this local range. Then we had a scam move higher at this market structure level. But that ended up as just a liquidity grab. Kind of a model 1 distribution. Swing fail, model 1 distribution, directly go to the range low. So this was also 1, 2, 3, very nasty move. But yeah, this shows that bears are in control. I'm not really looking at it after a nasty move like this to directly flow over into a model 1. That's not likely because this move down is super aggressive. So also here, what could be the case is because we are still bearish, that this is all internal and that we now have potential this as our bearish range. Where you kind of had your 1, 2, 3 here. That target has already been hit because we took that low. But yeah, for higher probability models, you want to spend some time here. Then if you can hold this low, swing fill your mark structure low, because now you have low, lower high. If you then SFP your low, and you get an internal boss, then your target becomes the opposite side. But main structure is still super bullish, bearish, because this is nasty as fuck. So it can also just be lower high, low low. Not really anything interesting yet. On the high time frame, it is super bearish. So this is maybe too obvious to get. So it can also be that price already nukes before that. But either way, I don't see clean setup here anytime soon. We do have some demand right here, which we can look at. It's not hit yet. But yeah, sketchy price action. Then what is hype doing? USDC has some nice equal highs and combined dominance, some really nice liquidity above still. Nice. Is the USDC chart way different as the USDT? Welcome, Dylan. I don't know. Oh, I think I already welcomed you, but if not, welcome. Yeah, it's quite different. This low was not taken, for example. Yeah, I see. I'm a bit artistic with my pairs, as you guys know. But it's nice confluence, definitely. I think like right now, we had a local accumulation and I can look, okay, does it flow over into a distribution? But the move in your second tab, I'm also explaining that in the Wyckoff videos that will be released tomorrow. The tab into your second, or the move into your second tab, that tells a lot. So right here we had 1, 2, break. This was like your 3, but not valid because we did not mitigate extreme demand or extreme liquidity, but it's still an accumulation, just not a tradable one. But then the move into your second tab, this one tells you a lot if it's just an accumulation into a distribution or that it's potentially a range breakout. And if you look at this move, this shows strength. This is the second tab in the making, if it was the second tab, but this is showing me strength. And then I'm not really looking at it from a distribution anymore. It looks more like this could be just then higher low, higher high. Because if this breaks above the deviation threshold, and right now showing strength, technically means that this range is range demand. So then it can be initiation, mitigation, continuation, the old RIMC. So alert right there. So this looks pretty strong. PC looks shit. Hype, let's clean it up. It had a nice, or not a nice, accumulation. It was also here 1, 2, 3, but no structure in that third move. So you only could confirm this as your low by breaking this high, because you have low, lower high, lower low. So the only way to validate this as your third tab, which perfectly took extreme demand, is by breaking above here. So that's a bit unfortunate. And then this retest of the third tab also had only structure up here. So it was not really easy to trade this one. But it broke above and is now breaking back in the range. Technically it can be in RIMC, but it's not really looking, it looks a bit sketchy. So what did price do? It came into this extreme supply. It's now also breaking the internal uptrend, which is technically like here, just take this one. High, low, higher, high. That one is breaking back to bearish. That's not really a great sign. So what price did here is that you had a downtrend, broke that to bullish, and now are directly breaking back to bearish. If you have structure breaks from bullish to bearish, that's often an indication that you are not really in a trend, but are starting a range. So if we ignore all this, this can also be a, just wondering. Okay. I don't know if Abby is here, but that's a short of Abby. Back to hype. So this can also be because we have a bullish break followed by a bearish break. Maybe this is just a new range in the making. We'll tap, low, high. And it will make quite some sense to me, looking at it where price is in the chart. Deviation, move down, and then we have a low with a high, with supply just above, and liquidity and demand below. And that's always nice if you have a range with PYs just above, just below, because then it makes sense if this wants to accumulate, for example, take liquidity, take demand, go up, take supply, and then market makers have reasons to push it into new lows and then push it into new highs. So also here, this can be just a nice range in the making. So alerts at both sides, and locally not really, we don't have really clean demand or anything. It's mostly liquidity. So I think this is just a new range building up. VLD, yesterday we talked about VLD. Happy that Dylan and Kijos profited from it. Maybe more, I'm not. Oh, and Mike also profited nice from that move. I don't think Mike is in the chat, but I had a call with him earlier today, and he took the long as well, without watching me, so that makes me proud. But we had the one. First of all, context, always most important. We had here local accumulation, model 2, and then we had this uptrend, high, higher low, higher high. So then here you can expect a higher low for a higher high. If you have structure with you and you have an accumulation aligning with that uptrend, that's what you want. That's a great confluence. So here we had range high, range low, tap 1, tap 2, tap 3, and then a bullish break, which then technically already confirmed this as our low and this as our high. Then I was personally a bit too strict with waiting for the model 1 into the model 2, which came right here. So then you have 1, 2, 3. This is already your clean invalidation. Then this is your fourth step. I wanted to see a structure break in that fourth step to validate that as my invalidation. But unfortunately, price had this move down. So the structure was up here. If this one would have made a slight new low, then this was the bullish break. Then this was my long. Stop there. And then target the highs and beyond. But we did not get that sweep, so then there was no structure. So I decided not to step in. But I could have played it as well, like just entering after the mitigation right here, see some strength and use, for example, that low, because it's always your protected low for a long. And then towards the main target, it's not really, it's like 1.6, nothing special. But since we are in an uptrend, it can run a bit higher, and then it can quite quickly go to like 2.5, 3R, and that's just super nice. So that was to yesterday. Luckily, some of you profited from it. And then price came back for a Rimsey so far, where we had some sort of like a rounded bottom. Again, that's an accumulation. Not every accumulation is tradable, but rounded shows you that there's absorption. So this is kind of 1, 2, 3, 4 rounded bottom. And if you look at structure, you have low, lower high, lower low, break. So I had my alert at this demand zone to see if we could mitigate this demand and then go up. We came close, but we did not tap it, unfortunately. And then started to push higher into that supply already right here. But also here, not really in any entry. So yeah, cool have 1, 2, 3 bullish break. This could have been a trade, but not really how I like to trade it. And right now, price is in supply. It is on the low time frame breaking structure. Back to bearish. So maybe it wants to form a lower high for lower low and then still mitigate this. In which we can have a new range right here. Which is then again a bullish range because we have an uptrend on our hands. This would be really nice, by the way. Would be kind of a replica, potentially what we had here. Break above, new range. Get accumulative behavior and then just to trade it higher. So that's what I'm watching for hype, for WLD. And beside that, not really. It looks like this. Yeah, we are now reaching mid-range, so that's not really a clean POI level or anything. I'm mostly curious to see if we start taking out that weekend liquidity, if there's some demand popping up, or that we just continue the massacre of last week, where there was literally no demand on the whole way down. And if this is the only bounce we could get, yeah, then I'm wondering if we can see buyers step in if we approach the lows again. So that's what I'm watching. Read chats. By the way, guys, the bill setup I shared in the Discord turned into a model 2 accumulation in my view. Technical target not yet hit, and price currently retesting 30-minute demand PY 8 left behind. Cool. I'm totally not into stocks. I'm not. I might have to dive into that later after my vacation. Now I will keep that to you guys. Daniel knows what he's doing, just as Arnold. Regarding that, I feel like the noob for you guys. Welcome, Pseudo. It's not a stock. Oh. Is Bill a crypto coin? Tau is holding its local range so far. Only one tap but could develop nicely. Oh yeah, I've not watched Tau, so let's have a look at Tau. Bill is it's a shitter. Okay, then I will look at it. Gold is nuking as well. Gold and crypto are lately very, very similar in how they trade. Where is our beloved Tau? Yeah, so I have this range on Tau. This local range, but I'm mostly interested in with low. Then we broke it, left here, super clean demand behind. So if we don't hold this local range, then I'm watching if we can get potential higher lows in this range demand. Yeah, I have an alert here. Let's see if it can, if buyers can present. We have some demand just below our current range low, which is always nice, because that can be a reason that price comes into it and bounces to confirm the tap 2. This. So yeah, nice range to keep an eye on. Then I'm interested in Arnold. Did you short that move? That's a killer trade. Like liquidity sweep and a 1, 2, 3 drive model 1 distribution. Super clean with but it was a fast one. So if you snipered it, then you've been sharp today. You've been on the creasels, I think, Arnold. Okay, I'm interested now in I did not watch it. What was it? Bill. Bill. It must be an absolute shitter. I've never heard of it. Yeah, I haven't looked at it at all. I'm not sure what you guys are watching at which time frame, but I'm just gonna go over my usual stuff. 1, 2. This can be 3. Bullish break. It's even more low time frame. Okay, so high time frame, it can be potentially in accumulation. This is where there is demand below. There was here a 50-minute break. There's more important market structure above. Now I'm likely approaching you guys. Time frame. Yeah. This can be indeed 1, 2. I with shiders, it's not my cup of tea. I have no idea how they react on right here. See, we have this clean demand below. I would be more interested in a model 1, because then you have your super clean invalidation. If you try model 2 here, then yeah, you can take multiple losses while not having a super clean invalidation. But also this, I'm not a shitter trader. For that you have to be with Sean or with you guys. But I'm curious how it will develop. So keep me updated. Maybe I have to go in shitters because this is also horrible. Gold and crypto are selling off together again. Yeah, so this is also more or less now confirming the new range. BTC confirmed in the new range. Hype probably in a new range. Tau in a range. ETH probably also then. Like ETH still looks horrible. Like I said yesterday, like BTC took out the low and then is now holding around here compared to ETH. But ETH is below, and this can just be, if it fails to get above this low, then it looks super bad. So if this is all that ETH had from a bullish reaction, it's not promising. But we have demand here, so we can watch technically this, which is also a structure. So high, higher, low, higher, high. Break this, and we have a bearish range, but can also just continue down because it doesn't look good at all. Classic. So this can also be the new range with the range high and range low. Yeah, so that's it. I'm curious, guys, what do you think of the trading journal? I think it's pretty clean. Do I have it still open? If it's right, your trades should be saved automatically. If it's not, you can do it yourself with export CSV. The analytics I think this will make a major thing for everyone. If you should be journaling. If you are not journaling, every day you start with it is one day too late. So just start with it. It helps massively, massively. You cannot really be taking trading serious and not journal. That might be the hard truth, but I also waited way too long with it because I thought, yeah, it's not necessary and blah 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 blah. But it makes massive difference. So journaling is literally key if you want to become a serious trader. And I think this is yeah, very helpful. So let me know if there are any problems or any things, and I can still change that. But thanks to Arnold, his help, everything should now work probably. So thanks Arnold for that once again. Let's read the chat. Cool. Arnold sniping the gold short. Amazing. Arnold, a high frequency trader. Yeah, the Creatures is doing the work. Goats. Brookload there's Arnold. Things. Sec is going down. Okay guys, forgot Bill for now, not Ben look strong anymore. I still have to log my first trade, but we'll do that today. It looks amazing though. Great. I currently journal more than I in a trade. Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, you've been of great help, Arnold. Really appreciate it. Yeah, so I think we have to wait a bit how these ranges develop, but as you guys know, I love to trade these ranges. So we now have our range low, we have our range high, we tapped the mid range. So from now on, we can look to trade the ranges as we always do. But it seems like they need some time. We are now at the mid range, so it can take a few days. All coins look quite similar. Gold is already close to its low, so that can be an indication maybe what it wants to do. If it can hold here, then it can be potential range. But right now the move is pretty strong. If this closes down here, then that can just be bearish continuation. Look heavy. Quick look at silver, what it's doing. It's probably then also nuking down. Yeah, so this was the range that did not confirm any model. And on the high time frame, ooh, high time frame, this is not bad. We are reaching the initial range low. And for model 2, oftentimes the PY for the third tap is at your original range value. So that's right here. So the move down is pretty aggressive, but if price can hold here, this is not the place to become bearish, but instead look for some sort of a rounded bottom for a move back up. Just 1, 2, 3. So that's getting interesting. It right now also gives some new structure to work with. This is nasty supply. But right now, this is our new structure high. Right there. Little alert here. Little alert there. Do we have something below? Oh, look. This is not a weird PY at all. 4-hour demand zone. Created at the second tap. Right at our original range low. That's the Model 2 POI. Which is not yet hit. Very close. So watch how that 4-hour demand, if that 4-hour demand can hold, that can be the Model 2 POI. Distance is pretty deep. So you can also question if this might be your range starting point. And then you are looking at a Model 1. Where this is then your 1, your 2, per 3. But yeah, just from a range perspective, this is where longs get interesting again. So I think that is it. I shorted space is my first tested trade on it. We'll see. Yeah, exactly. Check very close to our model 2 activation zone. Getting interesting. Friday, the SpaceX is officially launching, so that can also be a big event for the whole market to see if that's like a massive liquidity extraction event or not. But yeah, by the time I'm chilling, or at least during the time I'm in Bangkok, so that's not chilling yet. But after that, I will quickly go to the chilling space. For now, I don't have anything more to say, so I want to thank all of you for being here again. Tomorrow, last stream, and then some time for me to take gas off the pedal. But I'm already looking forward to be back, to be honest, and be here with all of you guys again. So thanks for tuning in. Tomorrow we do the last stream. After tomorrow's stream, I will also release the Wyckoff videos. Maybe I have to record a few more, then it will be later tomorrow, but they will be coming online. So thanks everyone, and I see you guys in the Discord as always. Cheers.